Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Welcome if you're new. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button, and let's get right into today's video. So for today's video, I am going to be doing a stiletto set, and the nail art came out so good. This was basically like a very fun, bright, summery type of vibe, like with a lot of nail art. So that's what I'm going to be doing today. But before we get into the nail art and everything like that, I am going to be using these stiletto tips. I got these from Amazon a long time ago. These are the tips I remember everyone using when I first started. Like, no matter what shape you wanted, these were the tips you went in with and then shaped them up. Since I've been getting a lot of pre-shaped nail tips now, like I barely have to go in and like shape my nails before my application. And I wanted some stiletto nails. I don't really have a lot of good ones. The ones I have and I use quite a bit, I don't really like how like skinny they go towards the tip. So I thought I should just go back to using these, and I did go ahead and pick out all of my nail sizes. And right now you see me just cutting the backs, like where I'm gonna be gluing these on, because I felt like that was like a little too much on my nails. I didn't want it to cover up my entire nail because I felt like they would just pop off so easily. So I did cut those down a bit, and then taking a buffer, I'm gonna be buffing over my tips just because I want the nail glue to actually stick to my peel off base. So just to prevent any of that, I'm just gonna go ahead and give these a quick buff and then go ahead and apply my tips with some nail glue. So for my nail art, I know exactly what I'm going to be doing because I did use the digital nail art templates from Casey's Nails, and these are so addicting, y'all. Like, honestly, when I planned these nails out, I did so many, like there's just so many in my Procreate app where I was just like trying new things, trying new techniques and everything. They are so fun to use. So if you haven't tried them yet, I do recommend them. They're good if you are a procrastinator like me. Sometimes I just don't know what to do, so when I get an idea in my mind, I'll just go ahead and start to like draw it out. Or if there's just one or two nails, I just go ahead and do it and then come back to it. Maybe I'll get more inspo or think of like, you know, something else to add to my other nails. So it is just so fun to draw out my nail designs. And I will leave her website down below if you guys want to check these out. I do know they are like $1.99. They are really affordable, and once you buy them, you get to keep them forever and just reuse that same template. So yeah, I love these so much. But before we get into like my application and my nails, like I said, I am gonna be like shaping these up. So taking some scissors, I am just cutting like the sides into somewhat of a stiletto shape. It doesn't have to be perfect at all. And I also wanted to make sure I didn't cut too much, because once you cut a lot, you can't go back. So it's just best to just cut a little bit by little bit until you get what you want. And once I got somewhat of the shape, I'm going back in with an 80/80 grit nail file and just go ahead and shape out the rest of the nails. I did go ahead and repeat that to all of my other nails off camera, and this is what the nails look like. I did cut them a little bit shorter. Like for my first nail that I showed you guys, I did go back in and cut it down just a little bit and shape it up a little bit more because I wanted to kind of stick to the length in the nail template, just so my nail art is a lot more accurate. And then next, before we get into the actual application, I am going to be taking some clear acrylic and just putting a little bead or a little layer right where I glued on my nail tip. And this is basically gonna help the nails stay on when filing. I did use a pop-off method, of course, but when I go to file, I will be putting a lot more pressure towards the tip, and since these nails are extra long, I'm gonna have to do like a little bit more filing than I would with shorter nails. So I'm just gonna put a little bit of this acrylic to reinforce that part so when I file they don't pop off. And this is not done just when I'm using the pop off method. I have seen other like nail techs that actually like prep their clients' nails. I do know some of them do use this technique, and they do say that it helps with retention. So if you are a person that does acrylic, you can try this method. If you are having trouble with retention or lifting, this is definitely a good technique to try because it helps me even with like my nails with a cuticle oil pop off method. So I know it's gonna help with like an actual prep dehydrated nail. So to start my actual application, I'm going to be using a not polished powder, and this one is called Second Nude. I did try to pick a color that's closest to the actual drawing, and I will have this like up on the screen whenever I'm talking about it so you guys get to see what I'm talking about. And I did swatch a few colors out. I swatched some from Kiara Sky, a couple from Not Polished, and a few from Too Cute Nail Supplies, and this one was just the closest and the one that I liked. So I did end up going with this color here called Second Nude. And when I tell you guys, I absolutely love this application process. I feel like this was one of my best applications ever. I did go in with like 2 beads on every nail, with the exception of just kind of like filling out around my cuticle areas with like smaller beads to kind of even it out and make it look a little bit flush. But for the most part, that's basically all I did. And I really like that because my application did not take long at all. I am using, I believe this is their number 14 brush, I'm not sure, but it is one of like the bigger sizes. I'm also using their monomer and of course their acrylic. And the not polished powders are so easy to use, they're so buttery. Even with bigger beads, like I was just having a really good application day. Not Polished is one of my top 3 brands to use, if not my number 1. I just love the way these feel. Like they're so like buttery, they're really smooth but not runny at all. They're not like drying too fast. I feel like these are very beginner friendly. If you're just starting out with acrylic, I definitely recommend trying Not Polished because starting out with something with better quality is gonna help your like progress, and it's just gonna help you learn a lot faster. I know a lot of times like the beginner kits that's really inexpensive, like the cheaper ones, they do tend to dry a lot. The brushes aren't that great, and it's just, you know, I just feel like you'll get a lot more out of using a better quality product. Unfortunately, I do know there's some people might not be able to afford a lot of these products at once. However, I do recommend getting at least 1 or 2, like a nude, cover pink, or clear, like I don't know, but definitely I do suggest you guys to start off with something with this good quality. And it doesn't even specifically have to be not polished. I know Kiara Sky has some really great ones as well, and I'm pretty sure there are a lot of other brands out there that works nicely. So what I recommend is finding a creator that you really look up to, that you know will like be honest, and just try something that they recommend. But for the most part, my application, I did use a little bit more monomer in my brush. That's because I am trying to use the 2 bead method, and doing these stiletto nails, I really feel like it helped because usually when I use like square tips, I just have to fill in a little bit more at the tips. So I may need a little bit more product, but since it goes into like this really narrow shape, there's not much acrylic that needs to be down there. So I feel like this really helps. And honestly, every time, I feel like I say this all the time, but whenever I go back to doing some stiletto nails, I always remember how fun it is to do stiletto. Like I don't know what it is about stilettos, but they are so fun to do. Maybe because personally I think that stilettos are the easiest shape to do. Like whether it comes to the application, the filing, it does narrow at the tip, so you may not get that extra space for nail art, but like application wise, like the doing the nails part, stilettos are so much easier to use. However, I do feel like squares are just so much more aesthetically better. Like, I love how squares look better than stiletto. So yeah, that's basically how my application went. I didn't have to do a lot of cleanup. I feel like even my cuticle beads were pretty nice. I just make sure to like tilt my brush at like a 45-degree angle and like really like seal that part in there. Make sure my apex is a little bit higher up because these nails are so long. These will definitely need an apex. And then once I get around my cuticle area, smooth everything out, I'll go ahead and go to the next nail. And like you guys see, I am just repeating that same process here over on my pinky nail. And just look how buttery this acrylic is, y'all. Like, you cannot tell me this is not a perfect application. And this color itself is just so pretty. Like, I love this. I definitely have to start using this more, along with a lot of the other not polished powders. I'm pretty sure I told you guys this before, but when I first started, I did enter a giveaway and I won so many not polished powders from another creator. So I'll have to use some of them in future videos. Like, I don't just want them to sit on my shelf, so I will try to put them to use. I have a lot of really bright spring colors, so maybe I'll use them when I do a lot of spring sets. But yeah, that's basically how my application went. I have one more nail to do, so I'll just go ahead and let you guys watch the last nail play out. Sorry if it feels like I'm just rambling or talking, or if it sounds all over the place. I do know a lot of people leave in the comments that they would prefer me to talk, so when I do my voiceovers, I do try to talk a little bit more. Even though I don't know what really to talk about, I just go ahead and give it a try. But yeah, I'm just gonna finish up this last nail, and then once I finish, we can get into the filing part. So here's what my application looks like. I do have my thumb to do. I didn't do it on camera. I did just go ahead and finish that up really quick. And this is basically how all of my application looks. I love the way these look already. Like, they're really smooth. And I just love my application in general. So I did go ahead and let them dry, and now it's time to file. So using a 80/80 grit nail file, I just began to file how I always do. There's nothing really too complicated about it. With these being stiletto, it did take me even less time because I don't really have to like focus on getting them straight. Like, really just make sure that it goes to a really sharp point, or however sharp you want your stiletto to be. But if you are new here, I do kind of explain about how I file. So basically, I just go in like underneath my nail a little bit on the sides, and you have to make sure that you are actually filing like the sides of your nails. Otherwise, they still will look bumpy in some areas. Like, it's kind of hard to explain, but not only like the actual nail tip, but the side profile of the nail. That's really going to give your nails that really straight shape and that really professional look. Once I file the sides and get my shape together, I do file on top of the nails, filing like straight on top first, and then I'll go in and work the sides and make sure that's all decent. And the way you can tell if the nail is smooth is that once you file over it, there's gonna be like this really like ashy like looking part where if you stop filing you can see what's been filed, and if there are still some dark spots, that means the nail is not level. So typically I just go in and file until everything is nice and smooth at once, and then I'll get my e-file and work that over my cuticle area, seal everything in. In this part where I take my e-file, you will see me go in underneath my nails and remove all of that product. So yeah, that's basically how I file, and like I said, I've really had a fun time filing these. Stilettos are so easy and fun to file, especially when getting the tip. I feel like that's my favorite part because you have to like angle the file inwards and just really make that tip as sharp as you want it to be. And that's pretty much how I start to file each of my nails. Sometimes there is a lot more debulking to do, so once I use my hand file, if there's like more like uneven parts on top of my nails that I just don't want, I will go in on like the surface of my nails and just debulk it, and then of course go back in with a hand file. But for this, I only use my e-file to seal in my cuticle areas and just go over and smooth out my apex. I did finish off my filing with some buffing, just buffing over my surface really quickly to remove all of those scratches, and this is what the nails look like now. And now it's time for the nail art. So for the nail art, I did pick out a lot of polishes from 𝕤𝕚𝓻𝒍𝒏. I'm going to quickly show you each of these colors, and the names are on the bottom if you are interested in these. You will see most of the bottles say Nail Addict, but that was before they rebranded and now call themselves 𝕤𝕚𝓻𝒍𝒏. But they are the same brand. I do have a discount code, and I will link it down below and also put it up on the screen if you guys want to check out that code and save some money off some good quality gels. I love these. The pigments are really nice and they smell like bubblegum when you're using them, so that's a plus for me. I did pick out two blues because I wasn't really sure if I wanted to go lighter or just a tad bit darker, so I put both of them on my nail palette until I made my decision. And before I go straight into the nail art, I am going to be taking the not polished matte top coat and just going over all of my nails with a really thin layer, because this really helps the nail art come out a lot smoother when it comes to cleaning up. And I'm going to be doing nail art. I'm not that great at nail art. I am pretty decent, but I know there's going to be a lot of cleanup work. And from what I learned, you don't want to do nail art on top of like a freshly filed nail, because if you have to do a lot of cleanup, the gel polish is just gonna seep in those creases and it's just not gonna be an easy cleanup. So whether it's a base coat, top coat, matte top coat, and what you use for this step is totally up to you. All you want is a smooth surface for the nail art brush to glide a little bit nicer and the cleanup to be a lot neater and not so smudgy looking. And once I cured on that matte top coat, I went straight in with my nail art. And look at these flowers. So far, I think they are turning out pretty good. But do y'all see anything? Like, do you notice anything? I totally messed up the order of my nails. This was supposed to be the design on my thumbnail, but just looking at these nail art templates, since I'm doing my index nail first, I just immediately looked at the first nail on there and then start drawing. And like, I didn't even realize until I was about to cure, but I went ahead and cured it because I was like, I feel like this turned out so good for my first try. I'm just gonna go ahead and cure it, and I may just end up like swapping out the nail design. Since I did this thumb design on my index, I'll just do my index design on my thumb. So for now, I did keep it, but further in the video, I did end up switching it to how it is on my nail art template, because I just really love like those lines. I feel like it brought a lot more colors into this design, so I did want that on two of my nails. But of course, you'll see that once I get to it. So now making sure that I'm actually doing the right design on the right nail, I am going to be doing a French on my middle nail, and this is going to be like my box checkerboard type of design. The easiest way to do this checkerboard print is just to go in with a solid French first and then go in with the lines. I am going to be doing the French pink because it's easier to see darker colors on top of light compared to light on top of dark. So I'm going in with the pink, and then once I finish and cure on my French, I'll go in with the purple and start to create my lines and fill in my boxes. And I was just so surprised at how well everything worked for this nail set. Usually I go through a lot of trouble, a lot of cleanup, just a lot of things you guys don't see on camera. But for this design, I feel like my application was great. My filing didn't take long. My nail art was pretty good. Like, these colors are just so pretty. Yeah, this was definitely it. So I'm hoping this video does well, which brings me to let you guys know that if you are enjoying today's video, make sure to go ahead and give it a like, subscribe if you haven't already, and leave a comment down below. That will really help me out. To start off the checkerboard print, I'm just starting by drawing some vertical lines all the way across my nails. I did start to go in with my horizontal lines, but I feel like it would be best to just go ahead and cure this first. So I did do like my first top two lines or whatever, and then I cured it for 30 seconds. And now I'm going to go in with my horizontal lines and just basically do lines going all the way across until I get to the bottom. And then once I finish doing that, I'll just alternate filling in my boxes so it looks like a checkerboard print. After I was done with my checkerboard print, the thought I had, I was gonna go in with another coat, but I wanted to get all of my nail art done first, so I didn't end up going back over it just yet. See, there I was about to, but I was just like, let me just go ahead and get my flowers done first. So I did go in with the purple flower, basically just following out my template. But what happened was, when I finished my actual nail art, I didn't get to go over my checkerboard print with like another coat of purple. So in the ending footage, you will see that in some like angles it's kind of hard to see, especially in like the sun where I took my ending clips. However, you can still see it right here, so just keep in mind that's how it's supposed to look. But yeah, I'm just going to be following out the rest of my templates, and there's not really much to explain, so I'll just end up letting you guys watch the rest of this play out. And I hope you guys enjoy this really colorful nail art. I know I really enjoyed doing this, and this basically got me ready for summer nails. Like, I cannot wait to do summer nails. I know for spring I was ready, but for summer there's so many new trends to try and like just so many new things coming out. I just cannot wait. So yeah, I'll leave you guys to it until I'm done with all of my nail art, or whenever I decide to pop back in and let you guys know something. Like I stated before, I did end up filing away my flowers that I messed up in the beginning of my nail art. And there you just saw me basically just add on that matte top coat again, so my nail art would come out really smooth. And now it's time to do my little swirl lines, my little rainbow, if you want to call it. Not necessarily a rainbow because it's not the colors of a rainbow specifically, but I'm just gonna be doing my little swirl lines. And this part was really tedious, but it was really fun and I love how it turned out. So after each line, I do give it a flash cure from my little light that I got from Temu. I love this light, it's so convenient. And I just continue doing that until I have my entire design on my nails. And I also will be doing this on my pinky as well. The way I wanted the nail art to look is if I took a paintbrush and dipped it into like a lineup of colors and basically just like swirled it on my nails. So this middle section of the lines, I didn't start with the blue on top. Like if you can imagine like just starting at the top of my nails and just swirling a paintbrush around, that's kind of how I wanted my colors to lay out. I wanted it to give that type of look all the way down my nail. And I did go ahead and repeat that on my pinky, which I didn't show because I didn't want this to be super repetitive for you guys. But as you guys see, I did repeat that same process with a different pattern on my pinky nail. And now it's time to just go back and add some small details. Like here, I'm just taking that yellow gel polish and just adding it into the center of all of my flowers because the yellow is not really shown much. So I'm just going to add that color in just a little bit more from the flowers. And then I'm also going to be adding some 4 pointed stars on all of my nails, just giving it a little bit of personality. I love this nail filler. I use it a lot whenever I don't really know what else to do on my nails, especially if I have a lot of like empty spaces. If I'm using like a glitter background or I have glitter in my nails, they work really well with glitter nails or like anything like this that has like nail art in empty spaces. So I did do that on all of my nails, and usually this would be too much, but I just wanted to stick to my nail templates exactly how I drew them out, so I didn't change anything about it. And then once I get on all of my 4 pointed stars, I do go ahead and cure that. And the last thing to do is add a top coat to seal in my design. Give it a 30-second cure, and I'll be back to show you guys how the finished nails turn out. After rubbing in the cuticle oil to re-nourish my cuticles, this is how the finished set looks, and I'm just so obsessed. For one, I really love the way that I was able to execute my entire nail set the exact way I have on my nail art template, and that just goes to show that they are so easy to use and they actually help when planning out your nails. And secondly, I just love how all of these colors look together, really bright and fun. Like, these give such a fun vibe and I love it. It was a great way to top off my summer nail sets. I cannot wait to give you guys more bright nails. And I feel like I will be going back to a lot of my longer and XL nail sets because that is just the only way I will be able to function with nail content. So yeah, I just love these from start to finish. Everything I use will be linked down below, or I'll try to link it down below. All of my discount codes are always down there, so check that out as well. And let me know what you guys thought about today's set and this design. And as always, don't forget to like and subscribe. And I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.